Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be going through my first sketchbook. Well, the first one I ever filled. The sketchbook is basically just the first time I ever took art seriously, I guess. It's not very good. Just for reference, this is what my art looks like now. A lot better. So with that being said, let's get into it. This was from June 2nd, 2020 to July 22nd, 2020. That would make this about 5 years old. I did the monthly cover page even back then because I just wanted to know what month I was drawing everything in, I guess. This was June's. I don't know what I was doing. I think it was supposed to be like a tie-dye thing. I have no idea. And here we have an erased drawing already. We'll get to these two later. This, I believe, was Dex from Drawing with Waffles channel. I loved watching her. I still do, even though she doesn't post as much anymore, which is understandable. Here we have another drawing that I did. I have no idea who this is. And, a scratched out drawing. Now, these two, and I believe the next two as well. Oh, maybe not that one. These three were all done from tutorials, but I have searched for the channel and I cannot find out what it was called. Oh, we're gonna ignore that. An ice skate, because I liked ice skating at the time, even though I never did it. Well, I did once, but... Here we have a wolf cat thing, probably a wolf, we don't know. I don't know what this was. I was not actually in art block. I drew all these and the next few within a span of like a week, so... Here we have a girl looking off to the side. And if it seems like I'm rushing through this, I kinda am, because this sketchbook is thin paper and there is a lot of paper, so it's going to take a while. Here we have a girl walking, and another tutorial that I followed that I remember being proud of. We have two people hugging, which I think was also a tutorial. This clearly was not a tutorial, I don't know what happened here. Here we have a hand with some hearts. Very nice. This definitely was a tutorial. I think this was supposed to be me, but I don't have my ears pierced and I don't dress like this, so I don't know what was going on. This, I had some glitter glue or glitter pens on here, that's what this is. And I think this is pretty cute. Nothing there, but we have some hands holding a heart here. This lamp I specifically remember because it was my grandma's lamp in her bedroom, and I always thought this part looked like a pineapple, so I drew it. This is just a girl holding a match, I think. I don't know how this pose is even possible. Here we have some matches and a window. I'm guessing this is supposed to be fire and that's spring and this is winter and the match is warming everything, I don't know. Here we have an astronaut floating through a blank page. And this is something I did in gel pen. It's kind of actually a redraw, I guess, of a painting I made when I was like 8. I think this was a cover design. Where's the cover? Because this is actually just like a piece of paper taped on here, but anyway. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is Jason. Y'all don't know who Jason is. Never mind. Jason's like my main character. Like, he has existed about as long as I have been alive. I used to throw him into any scenario I thought of, but then he kind of had his own story by the time I got around to this. We're gonna ignore her. I don't like her. Ashley, I don't like her. She used to be Jason's half-sister. Oh, we don't like her, but we do love this little kitty right here, Smokey. I believe this was also supposed to be me, but once again, I don't dress like that, so... Then we have only used gel pens on thick paper. I wish I had known that sooner. Here's a girl in a dress. I think I was trying to practice braids or curly hair or something. I think that was supposed to be Ashley, and it's all scribbled out, rightfully so. Here, I was kind of looking up pictures of anime girls. I appear to have signed my name. I don't really care if y'all know what my real name is, honestly. Lizzie's not my name, though. It's Elizabeth. I don't like being called Lizzie, which is weird because I don't know why I wrote that. And I spelled it wrong! More pictures of anime girls. And these two, who look similar to the people earlier. It's a meteor and the planets. I really liked astronomy back then, so I kind of just drew a bunch of space night photos. There's a cat on the moon. This I actually drew because it was like a squishy I had at the time. This was like a wall sticker I had. My mom really liked Paris, And I don't think she ever realized that I did not like Paris. No offense to people who live in Paris or in France, but you know, we would have more space. That's actually a stray cat that we fed. He used to sit on our porch and look into our window for some reason, but then he vanished and never came back. I think I was supposed to be drawing a galaxy here. I don't know what it was though. I think this is Uranus or Neptune. It's definitely Uranus actually. Neptune's a little darker than that. There's an arrow, and here is a girl looking down because I don't think I wanted to draw her chin. More space and a candle. It's kind of sad that all this is kind of smudged up. You know, the paper was thin, that was bound to happen eventually, and this is like 5 years old, which is still a crazy thing to say. Left hand, right hand challenge, I guess, with a cat. And then there's my cat, Gray Stripe again. Yes, he is named after the warrior cat. Okay, it was a phase, I don't know what was going on. I think I was watching Mariah Elizabeth, and I saw the rainbows. And I was like, oh, I want to draw a rainbow. So I made this thing with like the black dripping down. This is... yeah, I was the weird kid. This is Tsunami from Wings of Fire. I just drew the cover of the second book, which had her on it. I don't know what this is. I have a girl waving with a very interesting arm. I have the moon with a star, I guess? A planet. We have Jason just standing there. We have this grid. I think there was supposed to be paint coming out of it, and then I was going to color this in, but I never got to it. Here we have this guy, this girl. I don't know who these people are. I don't know what this is. I don't know why I drew this either, but it's art block again, apparently. Oh yeah, these are like my pets, or they were my pets. This was Sherlock. He was like this really old dog we had. And this is Ember. He's still alive. He's a cat. You can see that. I don't know what I'm doing here. This is Ellie. She's also a dog. And Gray Stripe and Firestar. I can't believe my parents let me name them that. But we have Jason and his cat Smokey, because I love cats and I love Jason. Here's oh, I remember this. Okay, this was like an Apple Mint tutorial where she was doing a tutorial drawing eyes and stuff like that, and I followed this. I loved Apple Mint so much. Oh my gosh. Does she still post? I haven't seen her channel in so long. Wait, here is a girl sitting on a mat looking rather sad. And this, I think, was her portraits video, where Apple Mint was doing portraits and stuff. Another one, and another one. And I did one of Jason, you know, looking all nice over there. And this is when we got to July. Here we have Iris. She was one of my characters. Originally, she was in a fantasy story, but I actually moved her into a different story with another character who you'll see later. I don't know who this guy is, but he's rocking out to something. That's nice. The blending is crazy, bro. Is this like the traditional art equivalent of using the blur brush on Ibis Paint for blending? I feel like it is. That's kind of what it looks like. You have a girl. That's kind of creepy. A killer whale and orca. You have a dolphin, a whale, and a mermaid, because I found out about mermaid, but I was like 2 months late, but I drew one anyway. A shark mermaid. We have this girl. I think I covered her chin with her hair because I didn't like how it was turning out. Here's Ashley crying as she should be. And this I drew because it was 2 a.m. and I was at my other grandma's house. I'm so sorry. I can't take myself seriously. Okay. Hands making a heart. There's not a single bone in those fingers. Oh my gosh. Here's Jason. And this girl with stars in her eyes. Oh, that's kind of creepy. Oh no. That hand's definitely backwards and lopsided. Here's Iris again. I remember I really liked Iris when I first made her. This is what I talk about. Iris got moved into her story. I think it was Naya. I think it was. It was like a post-apocalyptic thing. Here we have a dagger for some reason. It says musical character. I have no idea who this is, and she only appears in this sketchbook. Little girl. And a boy posing very strangely. I think this is either my dog on a skateboard, or it was Dex's dog on her skateboard from Drawing with Waffles. I think it's... Here we have Jason again. This is when my dad and I started watching The Mandalorian. And I think I also drew Baby Yoda as well, so that's very interesting. Oh lord. So, I had the bright idea, and it was like 2 a.m. and I was really bored. This, I was making like a comic, and I guess I was planning it? I don't know. Here we have someone looking from the corner of a wall, apparently. Comic book prologue and part 1 complete, July 6th, 2020. We'll come back to that date. Here's a girl in exercise clothes. Here's Naya. Comic book part 2 complete, July 7th, 2020. There's a bunch of stripes. And I forgot this was in here. Oh, okay, finally, something interesting. Okay, so my friend and I... Yeah, you guys know her. I mentioned her in the last video under her online name, or her art fight name, which is Slug Terra. Yeah, we wrote a book together in 2020 because we both got really bored. And so this was the result of that. Here we have Diana, Cherry, Blake. Cherry was just like a dog, but anyway. All these little things I originally used to cover up my name, but after my first filming attempt of this video failed, I just decided, you know, what the heck, I really don't care. And I just removed all of them and put them here so that y'all would not see my friend's name. We have another cover design. Oh my gosh. This might just be the most generic villain design I've ever seen in my life, okay. I think this was another Apple Mint inspired drawing. Here we have Jason again. This was also in gel pen. I really liked gel pens at the time, I guess. This was in Sharpie, I think, actually. Phases of the moon. The ocean at night, but I ran out of Sharpie, so I stopped coloring. Also, I was getting a massive headache. This was my Roblox avatar at the time. Coloring stuff for the book cover. I'm so sorry. I think I was supposed to put them in these little boxes right here. I don't really know. I can't with this. There's Blake. Here's a finished product of Diana. Here we have a girl with hooves, which I think is also an Apple Mint inspired drawing because she had a character with hooves. I don't remember. I think this was like a one color challenge and I just used purple because that was the only thing I had laying around. And this is something you'll have to deal with for the next, I think, like 20 sketchbooks. Alcohol markers are expensive, and I did not have the funds to buy them at the time, because I didn't have a job. But my parents bought me Tombow markers, which honestly, looking back, are probably just as expensive. But yeah, they were water-based, and they did not do well on this paper, but I love them for some reason. And I think you're supposed to use them for calligraphy, not drawing, but that is too bad. I was so happy when I got these, y'all don't understand, it was crazy. Yeah, and I thought I was the blending master. A heart. Clearly I wasn't. Scribble. Have comic book complete with Jason flying over here, and this is why I said to remember the date. This says July 19th, 2020. The first thing said July 6th, 2020. I actually did it all on that night, but I didn't want it to look like I had stayed up for like 5 hours doing it, so I wrote different dates, and I think I forgot to write the completion date as July 8th, so I ended up writing it as July 19th. Here is an arrow colored in with those Tombow brush markers. Here is a hatchet, which is probably inspired by that book Hatchet. Here's Iris again and her bird lizard. And that is actually the last page. This is just a color swatch page when I was testing a bunch of stuff. And that is all for today. Now, the rest of my sketchbooks, there's a ton of them. And so what I will probably be doing is I will still post every week on Monday. But there'll be a bonus video like every other Friday, and that's probably when I'll do the rest of these sketchbooks. I'm trying to knock them all out, because a lot of them aren't as big as this sketchbook, because this one has like 150 pages. But the rest of them have thicker paper, so they don't have as many pages. So it should be easier for me to put like 2 and 3 and 4 together. But yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this sketchbook tour of my first ever sketchbook. A little backstory, because if you haven't clicked off by now, you probably won't. This sketchbook was actually supposed to be my cousin's, because my grandma got it for him after seeing some of his sketches, but then he didn't want it for some reason. I think he was just embarrassed that she saw them. And she offered to give it to me, but I denied it at first. But then I came back later and said, hey, can I have it if he doesn't want it? And he didn't want it, so he gave it to me. And so this produced, I think, 35 other sketchbooks. I still don't regret it. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day or night. So again, thank you for watching. Bye!